North Secondary now, James.
Yeah, I'm a numbers guy. Never liked it in secondary school doing the math, but I tell you what, 22 games unbeaten, you've got to take notice. Arima North, they've been really good since getting back into the Premiership division.
Yeah.
Initially, one of the teams that started in this division, booted out in the first season, they've struggled, but they're back under new management and they've been able to be unbeaten. They haven't been beaten in regulation time since 2019. That has to count for something. They're coming up against a team who's been scoring goals for fun, and that makes this match interesting.
Well, let's look at Sour North's form guide moving into this one, Brent.
Well, as you take a look at the form guide, this is a team, of course, that has gone all the way through. That first result, guys, that's the result that really stands out for me. Beating St. Benedict's College, a game that we saw an absolute screamer from SWEEN. That really set the tone for this team moving forward. They had a hard-fought game against Queen's Royal College at their facility, and they came out 2-1 winners, and that was key. And when you talk about, of course, the players that they're looking to, I mentioned one or two of them, in particular SWEEN, as you mentioned, his birthday today. Very good left-footed player, creates his own opportunities most times for him own self, and of what he can do is for this team is critical. And of course, the man that he has been able to be paired with is Kwashi from a transfer from Queen's Royal College. He has chipped in with his fair share of goals, and more importantly, his ability to marshal the middle of the park.
Well, not having their usual captain Joshua Lewis here with them today as he's injured, Sour North are definitely looking to it. But let's talk about Arima North Secondary. They're saying they're preparing to upset everyone that is saying Sour North has this one.
Yeah, they're one of those teams. I'm sure my Jamaican friends would know this phrase, 1-1 Cocoa full basket. They're not a team that scores a lot of goals. That game against St. Mary's where they won 8-1, an anomaly. But they are a team that haven't been conceding many.
Yeah.
It's been difficult to score against them. And one of the reasons is that man in goal, Diaz. Diaz has been sensational in goal for them. He's helped gel together that defense of theirs. And, he will be an integral part of the competition. He had valuable experience last season in the competition where he was arguably one of the goalkeepers of the season. Look out for him. And then they've got two national players, one being Oliveri, who recently played in the last under-15 national team for Trinidad and Tobago. Look out for this young man. He's only 14 years old, an incredible talent, and all eyes in Arima will certainly be on him.
Well, all eyes will definitely be on Arima North Secondary. Now, before this matchup, we actually spoke to the coach, Wayne Shepherd, pre-season, and this is what Chappie had to say.
Pre-season training has not gone as smoothly as we would have liked. Coming out of COVID, the standard isn't where it's supposed to be. So I would have liked more time to work with boys on their technical ability and tactical awareness. I normally ask for 10 weeks to prepare a team for the season. This being the first time that Arima is back up in the Premier Division in 8 years, is very important for not just the boys and the school, but for the community. This season, the core is basically the same as last year, the core of the team that would have brought us up. And the boys are very excited about the new season. This is the first time the majority of the team, bar probably two players, have ever played at the highest level in school football in the country. So they're eager to measure themselves against the other schools and players in the age groups.
Well, the subs are out and the officials are ready. When we come back, kickoff, Arima North Secondary versus Sour North Secondary School here at Arima Velodrome. This is the Secondary Schools Football League Premiership Division. And just a reminder, download the SportsMax app and stay up to date with everything happening in terms of Secondary Schools Football League. We'll be right back.
Welcome to SSFL Premiership Division. Welcome to SSFL Premiership Division. SSFL Premiership Division.
Well, the borough of Arima is our home today as we get set and ready. It's a big one. Arima North Secondary against San Juan North Secondary. The battle of the unbeatens. Well, don't jump in your horses just yet because it's a lot of context that will be added into that mix and we'll be sure to bring all of that here for you. Hello everybody, my name is James Saunders. Brent Sancho joins me. And well, those guys, they're joining everybody here at the Arima Velodrome, one of the homes of sporting action in this borough that has produced so many top persons around the country of Trinidad and Tobago. We'll talk about some of those in just a second. It is a nice, cool day for football. Well, I say cool in a metaphorical way because it's certainly not cool in terms of temperature. It is hot. Look at the sweat dripping off the coach of Arima North, Wayne Shepherd. And well, Brent Sancho, if this game can be anywhere as hot as the weather, we're in for a good one.
Yeah, certainly. So we talked a bit about the history, about the two teams, but the history of this venue as well. I know you alluded to the fact of so many great individuals coming from this community of Arima. Both teams, James, Arima and San Juan North, are considered community-based schools and they are integrated into the community. The community supports these teams heavily. And historically, as I said, they have presented some mouth-watering clashes. I can go all the way back to the Kerry Jamiesons of Arima and, of course, the Marvin Olivers of San Juan and bring it all the way back to where we are today. Certainly a fixture that has history, but also, James, and probably most important, it has a lot of meaning for today's context because, as you mentioned, both teams are undefeated. And Arima North victory here today will see them climb up the ladder significantly of the secondary schools premiership.
Well, an introduction of the cast who will take the field and entertain us for the next 90 minutes or so. I tell you what, it is quite hot. We did the pre-game down on the surface. Felt like 40, but it's going to be a hot contest, certainly. There's a birthday boy in the mix. And, well, would he like to score on his birthday today? Lindell Sween turns 17. Yeah, here's in the picture, the number 10. And Arima North will be hoping to be party crashers. They've been unbeaten since 2019 when they re-entered. They were promoted back to the top flight of football here in Trinidad and Tobago, and they'll be hoping to keep that record intact. Pleasantries with the captain as they meet Andrew Samuel, who will take charge of this one. Johan Cornell and Yarin Gosain will be his two assistants, while the two skippers, Isaiah Diaz for Arima, and for San Juan Secondary, Desai Lewis will be the men to make the decisions. Those boys are ready. They're set. They've been scoring lots of goals since the competition started. Swede, Kwashi, and Dan Clare. They've scored in almost every game that they've played. Well, speaking of them, let's take a look at their cast. Xavier Haynes is back in goal, and he replaces Langai. Desai Lewis will be the captain of this team. Lindell Sween, the birthday boy, wears the number 10. Jadiel Joseph has been destructive on the right, while Jaheim Danclair has banged in goals in 3 of the last 4 matches.
Well, as we look at the lineup, of course, no captain in the back for San Juan and Lewis. The midfield is easily commanded by Kwashi. Sween up front plays as a false 9. Danclair as the lone front runner.
Oh, the homeboys, they're set. They're ready to go. We'll be introduced to them in just a second as Johan Cornell makes sure that the net is right. And Isaiah Diaz, one of the goalkeepers of the last campaign, he will be back in the mix. Kristen Gomez and Oliveri both have national under 15 experience, while Darian Marfan, remember him from last season as well as one of their key players, he will be looking to lead them in a game against a team that has been scoring lots of goals. Wayne Shepherd is on the bench.
Well, Diaz is going to be the one at the back to lead the charges. A team that only conceded 3 goals so far this season. Stapleton up front is a handful. Ashing on the right-hand side will create some guile and guidance.
Ashing, of course, has scored 2 goals so far in the tournament. He is their leading goal scorer. Haven't scored that many, although it has been an anomaly. 8-1 against St. Mary's College. It's been different. Well, action has started here in Arima. Arima North Secondary, the Dynamos in blue. San Juan, the boys from Bugmalachis, also known as Book, all the way the green. Some high grass on the surface, somewhat in the Arima Velodrome. This match has hosted so many top fixtures over the years. Might remember the recent TTPFL final. Defense Force against AC Port of Spain was also played here. These boys hoping to etch their name into the folklore of top players who have made this venue as iconic as it is. This will be thumped in the area, and all too long for CEEN. Arima happy to let it head out for a corner, or for a goal kick for that matter. And well, yeah, comes to North.
Yeah, of course, as we take a look at the bench and staff and players of San Juan North, you have to think, James, that the weather is going to play some role in the outcome of this fixture. It is extremely hot out there, and the tempo of the game will come into play. Well, whether or not they can keep up a high tempo in this sort of conditions, of these sorts of conditions, and it's also quite a bumpy surface. You mentioned that although it's very grassy, it's a surface that still has its bumps, and of course the true rolling of the football may come into play here. But it's all to play for both teams.
Well, let's see him doing that. Marfan, he couldn't get the end of that one, and Isaiah Diaz. In fact, the opposite number, Haynes, will get his first touch in the competition. Stefan Langai did start in goal for the early few matches in this competition. Haynes played last season for San Juan North, has retained at the #1 spot. And that man, Joseph, oh, he's been a handful all season. Many eyes on him at the moment. A difficult ball to control, but he finally does get it under control. And, well, he puts it out of touch. Mentioned the weather, Brent. How critical is the pre-game warm-up and preparation on a hot day like this?
Extremely critical. You have to obviously take a lot less time with the anaerobic stuff and making sure that you use more, of course, the stretching, the movement stretching, etc. Because you just don't want to use up that energy, and using the heat will certainly sap that from you. And obviously time as well. You don't want to spend long periods of time in your warm-up outside. And I think most importantly, James, hydration. You know, we were looking at both teams' warm-up, and to me, there wasn't enough hydration in and around the warm-up for the players leading into this, because it's a critical part for both teams being able to get through this sort of weather.
Oh, that one comes to North in the end, as it will be San Juan free kick. So already some attacking intent shown by the Dynamos. 33 is what the thermometer said. Feels like index, feels like 50. This will be aimed in at CEEN. He couldn't get it under his grasp, and it's back with Arima. Sent long into the area by Oliveri. But anybody's ball at the moment as Quashi gets involved, but there was a whistle for a foul on the San Juan player. The Arima Orokans, of course, one of the football clubs around the area, a feeder to the Arima secondary school team. Oh, this is CEEN on his right boot, and well, straight to the keeper Diaz in the end. It's always a scary sight every time he turns and has a sighted goal, Lindell CEEN. It's much more comfortable on his left boot. He is peering Dan Clay in attack. Oh, might have taken a ball to the face as well, CEEN. Happy birthday to you.
Yes, about to say. Not the type of gift he would have envisaged coming into this fixture. But it's a ball, of course, that you don't like as a player. Also one of those 2 areas that you don't want to be hit.
And the goalkeeper as well. We've been hit there so many times. No wonder nobody wants that position.
Yeah, I tell you what, it's a position that I still think to this day you certainly have to have a special disposition to be able to play there. Because the line of responsibilities that is attached to that position is really something to behold.
Well, here's Joseph and Christopher turning into traffic. Will fall nicely for Stapleton to chase, but it's booted back into the area. This time Dan Clare can bring it down. Has to hurry. It will be won by Hazel. Oh, this is a good spell from Arima, who will get Ashing going. He's already scored twice in the competition, and this time he had to be taken down using the dark arts. And it will be a free kick in a dangerous area.
Yeah. Very late with the challenge. And Rogers may have felt that he would have gotten there first, but he impeded his man while trying to get there.
So it will be Mafan to take the responsibility of perhaps finding a way past that man, protected by that wall of players in front of him. Well, it's long, aimed at Stapleton, but Haynes is there first, and he will hold on gratefully in the end. They lost possession easily there. San Juan come again to Joseph. Has he done enough to keep it in? Johan Cornell doesn't think so. Will be an Arima throw. So the home team, Arima North, and the better of the exchanges in the opening few minutes. This time, though, Ashen is muscled out of possession. To have 2 players in defense with international experience. But everybody keeps calm. Tiaz is in control. And again, a San Juan player is down. And it is Dan Clare this time. Shaheem Dan Clare might have taken a knock to the face, so it's not the first time that we've seen an offensive player with a ball to face.
Yes, we have another look. A very similar situation. You have to wonder if that was a game plan leading into this. I just hope the young man is okay. You can't do much when it's that close to you in terms of evasive action, as we see the president of the SSFL, Mr. Marie Gonzalez. Certainly one of the clashes of this round, James. We talked about the St. Benedict's versus Fatima College on Fatima College ground. Another important fixture as it relates to the top of the table. And of course, down south, Naparima College comes up against Malik Secondary, a team that we saw in our last production.
Of course, he could be in here.
That's a good shot.
Oh, just came off the upright. It's almost lost for words there. And I think Diaz might have been lost in terms of the flight as well. They're asking questions. They want to know what hit them.
Well, it's a good, strong drive by Kwashi, a man with already 3 goals this season. Placed it away. He has had no chance whatsoever. He looked at it and admired the shot. Kwashi inches away from giving San Juan North Secondary the lead.
Against the run of play as well. Arima North prior to that, having the better of the exchanges. Still quite early, as this one is hoofed out of play. What a moment at San Juan North, and that's how dangerous they can be. Kwashi, of course, has scored in 3 of their last 4 matches, including a double. Can't find the net, the Tubby connection man. Well, here's Joseph looking for CEEN. Mafan challenges. It's away with Arima. Christopher. Henry. Christopher losing possession to Kwashi. And Fostin's toucher lost possession before taking his man out, and this time it's a blue shirt to line the turf.
Yeah, it really was a poor touch there by Danclair after some good work again by Kwashi in the middle of the park. And Danclair is going to be critical. As you have another look, after the poor touch, he went searching for the ball, and with studs up, he stepped on the ankle. Of course, we've seen those sorts of challenges at the higher level, James, being penalized sometimes as much as a red card, where studs are showing and leaves an imprint on a player. But Danclair play is extremely important to San Juan North Secondary, because they need him to be that focal point to allow the likes of CEEN and Kwashi, of course, to make their charges into the attacking 4A. It's been a pretty even start so far. The tempo of the game, as I expected because of the conditions, has been on the slower side, but it does take some used to, and that's getting used to this type of temperature.
Well, somebody shaded at least. Sana Liebert, the manager of this Arima North secondary team. And, well, they've got the best seats. Cool and easy, packed into the main pavilion here in Arima. Expect that it will certainly fill up as the afternoon goes by. Arima, certainly a community known for their football. And talk about having your eyes on the prize. He certainly got his. Oh, the good news is Oliveri's back up, and play will continue. You can just see the deep shadows across the ground as the sun blazes across the outfield. Danclair couldn't control it. Will be won by Christopher. He's been a busy body on the left-hand side. Got Kwashi for support. He's got a bag of chicks. He'll need more than that, though, to get past Kwashi. He does get past in a good area, and Stapleton couldn't get a shot away. And, well, San Juan almost got napping for a second. Certainly was given lots of time to put it under control. Here's Joseph. Pushing forward now, Boyson Book, and in a good area here, doors can be open, and that's excellent defending from Oliveri, who doesn't look perturbed by the last injury.
Yeah, top class defending. And he just wondered, when Rogers made that touch, how would Oliveri approach him? Because sometimes defenders can be a bit overzealous and would make a challenge, could end up in a penalty kick, but he was cool, calm and collected and ushered his man out. That's top class defending by Oliveri.
Arima have conceded just 3 goals in their last 4 matches. Mentioned that unbeaten run, 22 games unbeaten in regulation time. In fact, the last time they were beaten, coming up against San Juan in the East Intercall, where they did lose on penalty kicks. Officers searching. Christopher could be on the end of it, and he is on the end of it. Stretching the San Juan team at the moment. Wow, look at that. Crowd certainly enjoying a moment of ooh la la. San Juan doing well to deal with the danger in the end.
Yeah, nice bit of trickery here. Look at that. Catches his man going one way, and he goes the other way. Needed a better delivery though, but certainly points for skill.
Style points, you call those. Well, look at this here. CEEN, the birthday boy, bursting past everybody. Good chance. Joseph couldn't convert. And Dan Clay in the end with the chance to just put it over the line. And, well, defended well in the end by Arima. The doors were opening.
And it all came from that man there in your screen. Good bit of individual skill. Get past one defender and burst past the other. Good delivery here. Joseph really should have gotten this on target. Seemed to be caught in two minds whether to head back across the goal or head to the right of Diaz. Tried to obviously get the ball onto Danclair. Didn't get to him.
Well, they could try again. This time CEEN is denied at the front door. Comes to Marfan, who gives away a throw. It will be San Juan yet again. Here's CEEN. Clever touch. Can't put it in the area. And maybe a shot could be on the tap here. Arima swarming around the green shirt. And eventually an illegal tug. And, well, pressure has been relieved somewhat. Well, the latest news out of Jamaica, the match between Charlie Smith High and Kingston College, that has been stopped in the 57th minute. Some bad weather and lightning forcing the interruption. We'll keep you updated in terms of if and when that game will be resumed. It's been 17 minutes played here in Arima. And well, the action has been quite intense, to say the least, in the last few minutes, particularly with this man, Christopher. And, well, the referee's whistle certainly did allow the defender, Tesai Lewis, to have a moment to think. Has been rattled by that man, Christopher, coming down that left-hand channel.
But so far, Arima's only joy or glimpse of possibly getting a goal comes from Christopher and the work he's doing on the left-hand side. And certainly, Sanmore North is enjoying the skill of this man.
Well, he tried to part the blue sea of shirts. Just too straight in the head. Dan Clare's run is what he most certainly would have been searching for. But he's a magician. Finds ways to open up spaces and avenues. Kwashi. Too long for anybody, and Diaz grateful to have it back in his possession.
Oh, we've gone about 18 plus so far in this half, James, and no team has been able to really settle and put together any sort of pattern of play or passage of passing. A lot of it has been individual brilliance, and one of it has been from that man. Let's go, I tell you. It's good, brave goalkeeping, but nasty collision.
Well, friendly fire as well. Taken out by one of his own players. Just took his eyes off it there for a second. And bang. Guy was into the back of Diaz. And, oh, certainly will have a stoppage here. Knock would fall, but both players should be able to continue. Oh, I wonder what's on their mind. Certainly for the players, it would be a moment to get hydrated. A look there, Lyndon Chubby Andrews among the staff, the technical staff for Arima North Secondary, former TNT International, teammate of yours as well, Brent.
Yeah, a player with a distinguished career. Obviously had a stint at Hibernian in Scotland. One of those players that would have represented Trinidad and Tobago, not necessarily a household name, but certainly an impactful part of our national footballing landscape. As you have another look at the collision here, I'm not sure if goalkeeper Haynes made the call, but even if he did, certainly Guy didn't hear it. But you would prefer that, James, rather than both players hesitating for the ball. It's good, strong, positive goalkeeping by Haynes. And that man there, Diaz, would have seen a Nathan Kwashi shot crash off the crossbar.
Oh, certainly don't forget, you can capture all of the action and excitement of the SSFL on the SportsMax app. It's available in the App Store and the Google Play Store. We've got all of the action from here in Trinidad and Tobago, as well as the excitement of the ESA Schoolboy Football League in Jamaica. Oh, he's recovered well. And should be fit to continue to take a nasty tumble moments earlier. It's big boy Haynes. It's quickly won back by Arima. Trying to get Ashing going, but will be defended by Guy. Guy, of course, was the other player involved in the collision moments earlier. Won back by a man in blue to Mafan. Looking for Christopher. Tried to get this pass first time into the part of Stapleton and company. Well blocked. Tempo slowed somewhat. It's quite hot. Just want to remind our viewers. Mafan. Hasn't seen much of him so far in the opening exchanges, Mafan. Yeah, he is in possession. Certainly one of their go-to players. Rima struggling to find solutions around the very concentrated defensive block of San Juan in the middle.
Well, they have the joy of stroking passes around in their middle third and defensive third, but this is the problem.
Oh, here's Kwashi.
That's a good turn.
And what a save that is from Diaz.
Yeah.
Spun and he let loose with the left cannon, Dan Clare. And, well, that's why he's one of our key players for saves like that.
And you wonder, James, how critical that save will be, because it not only prevented a goal, but prevented a goal at this current juncture. It was an instinctive save, but more importantly, an important save in every context. It was approximately about 10 or 12 yards out and hit with a lot of venom and power, but Diaz was able to claw it away. And I was just about to talk about the aimless possession that Arima North has had in and around their middle third and the back third. And of course, within that aimless possession, they coughed it up. Sometimes, James, you may prefer to go a bit more direct because you don't want to give the ball away in those areas.
Stapleton. And oh, that one's been sent flying into our commentary area. Almost tested my goalkeeping skills for ability for a second. Will be Arima's ball. It's Joseph. Oh, that's clever. It's found space O'Brien. But they've lost it in a bad area, and here comes a green shirt. And too long for CEEN in the end.
Yeah, and it was placed. He's now pointing, as you can see. He wanted the ball down the left channel to the defender's right. Instead, it was played over his head where the trailing defender was. Again, Arima North coughing up possession in the wrong areas, James. Might be a bit of a concern to their coach.
CEEN tried to wiggle past his man unsuccessfully. As Mafan helps out defensively. Here's Hazel. Christopher. Well, he's putting on a show, isn't he, Christopher? Reinforcements come, and this time, so outnumbered, will be a throw. Couldn't control it that time. And Lewis getting the better of his man, winning a goal kick for his team. Well, this has been a fixture that has, over the years, been one of the key fixtures in the secondary school football competition. San Juan versus Arima North Secondary, formerly Arima Senior Comprehensive. San Juan, though, to have the upper hand in terms of titles. They've got 3 national titles. Started all the way back in 1984, just about 39 years ago, when they won their first title. And then, of course, the league title in 2006, intercall title back in 2007, the likes of Elijah Manners and company. Arima, for all of their brilliance and all of the players they've produced, they've just been able to get 2 titles. But this is what happened earlier. Kwashi striking the upright.
Yeah, Diaz completely beaten on that one. And a bit of individual brilliance by SSFL. Not decisive at the end, San Juan North. They found a lot of joy with turnover possession, and that's the one. Big save by Diaz. Stood brave and made sure that he was counted. But you're right, James, there has been a tremendous amount of footballing talent coming out. You must take into consideration as well, as we take a look at the stats, 37% pass completion for San Juan North Secondary. And that in itself spells out exactly why this is still 0-0. And despite the fact with that low possession percentage and pass accuracy, you'd have to say, James, the more dangerous chances have fallen to the feet of the men from San Juan North.
Certainly haven't controlled much in terms of ball possession, as you would have seen from the last graphic. However, I always say that it's key chances and goals that win you games. That man, though, he's kept them out time and time again. So play will resume after the hydration break. It's Mafan. Oh, clever feet. It will fall to O'Brien. Christopher. Certainly been one of the standout players so far. And, well, the return didn't come to fruition. Tristate offside for a second, Hazel. Well, here's Rogers. Can't hold on. It's won back by the Dial Dynamos. This time it will be a throw. Just a bit of wind. Might just hear it blowing across the microphone. There's nobody complaining around the ground here about that. Certainly adding a cool element to the matches. Mafan tries to find Christopher. Cheats a long way to keep possession for Arima. They've done well. They've lost it. SSFL wiggling away from trouble. No foul, says the referee. Still battle for possession. O'Brien. This time they could send their man Ashing away. Green shirts just again interrupting. Kwashi. SSFL can't find the reverse ball into Dan Clare. Does find space well, SSFL. Oliver sticking on him well, but this time he's in. And that goal, and comfortable. In the end, Rogers finding a way, but not past that man, Diaz.
It's a good bit of work there by Rogers. All constructed there by CEEN. And Rogers may have been better suited, James, with trying to shoot across Diaz, or maybe setting it back on top the box for an on-rushing CEEN.
No, that's one equation, a solution they'll have to find. Another will be plugging the gap that's been exploited on the left by Hazel and Christopher, who just won themselves a free kick. He knows for sure how dangerous that pair can be. Christian Gomez among those also looking to take responsibility for this piece. Marfan as well. It will be Gomez to goal, and easy for Haynes. Almost surprised by the extra bunks, but he holds on well. Can't get away past Oliveri. It's Rogers had the last attempt on goal. Kwashi not controlling well. Christopher. This time he's a lot closer to Desai Lewis. It's Christopher that wins the battle. Hazel now loses possession. CEEN. Well, talk about neat footwork. Dancing with the stars. Wins the throw. Well, he's coming in quickly now and strongly as well, and he might have caught his man this time.
Yeah, he's very lucky because he was late.
Well, he's tormented him all afternoon, that man Christopher. And this time Desai Lewis taking matters into his own feet.
Yeah, studs up. Could be construed as a two-footed tackle as well. All the ingredients of more punitive damages. He's lucky to get away without receiving a card.
Didn't look two-footed when he went in. Significant force to boot. Tell you who isn't happy about it. Oh, the man who's lying horizontally at the moment. Christopher. Even they, Coach Weeks and company, have something to say about it. And well, Shepard, unperturbed, having a word with his manager. Did come from a stint in Taiwan, Wayne Shepard. He's also the Vice President of the Unified Coaches Association. Was the technical director for much of the season last year while he was in Taiwan before returning to grab holds of the team here in Arima. Oh, they still want to see some action. No goals yet after the half-hour mark. Of course, always munchies on hand. That's a staple. And he looks good to go, though. Christopher. Clear message sent by Arima. By San Juan, in fact. Won't be tolerating any of his fancy moves. He's seen a lot of fancy moves in his time, for sure. Diaz. Oliveri. Oh, they're trying to play the patience game. Arima. For it's pumped into Stapleton. Gets a touch, but no support around him. It will be San Juan's ball.
I think certainly from a San Juan North perspective, James, Dan Clare has not been involved in the game probably in the way that they would have liked. Again, I spoke about his influence as a focal point for San Juan North. He just haven't been able to stamp his authority over the match so far, anyway.
Oh, first sighting of Christopher since the injury. Tries to get Hazel involved. Well, has he kept it alive? He has, but it's only as far as O'Brien. So Brian, turning away from pressure, finds Oliveri. Joseph, well, he loses out. And here's Dan Clare. Well, that's good interplay. It's Joseph looking for options in the area. Well, swung Dan Clare, but his touch betrays him in the end. And the goalkeeper Haynes would clean up. Marfan battling to win this one. He's won it well. And Christopher can find a way in. Not this time. Very interesting battle there brewing between Christopher and Lewis. And this time it's another man facing the wrath of a San Juan player. And it is Oliveri. Best seat in the house. Is that Jassy Joyce there? Former TNT International. Oh, the umbrellas. Tells a story all by itself. Don't usually see those out when the sun is shining. Unless, of course, it's hell degrees Celsius. Well, here's Christopher. Oh, this is good. Searching, and Haynes is there first. Might be a corner. Goal kick. There's a decision.
Yeah, and I'm looking at Henry. Remonstrating with Diaz, the goalkeeper, to come out and collect that one. I think Diaz was right in that instance. It was far way out of his area. But an uncharging Dan Clare in pursuit. It's a game that really hasn't been allowed to have any fluidity to it, James. It's been stop-start and played at a almost pedestrian-like tempo. And despite the desires of Arima North to try to be patient and pragmatic in their approach, I think the Heat has scooped that. They've got a bit of joy in this passage of play, connecting 5 or so passes, and now they've ended up with a corner. First time for the game, James.
It's the first corner of the match for the Dial Dynamos. They've certainly tried to exploit the left-hand channel. This time with some limited success. It's Ashing. Well, they tried differently this time. Get the same result. Cleared away by the San Juan defense. O'Brien, last played at St. Augustine secondary. Brian into Marfan. Back to O'Brien. Oh, clever feet. He is a player, perhaps at the most Premiership experience, O'Brien. Last played with St. Augustine secondary, although that team didn't win a game. He's the most experienced, but certainly not in winning. But he has added something to the Arima team this season. Well, that's too long, maybe. It's done well, though. It's Christopher. Might have gotten a loose arm to the face there. And the referee this time will intervene on behalf of Lewis.
Yeah, just coming off Lewis, the loser in that exchange. Nothing malicious in that. But despite the huge chunk of possession from Arima North, perspective, James, they still haven't had a real clear-cut opportunity in goal.
SCEEN can control that time. Christopher. Well, straight offside, Stapleton. We've seen a different player in Christopher since the last challenge from Lewis. Well, this fall nice for Dan Clare. SCEEN tried to help out. And Christopher will run away with it. Choke it around, looking for spaces. And well, Christopher has been sent on a sprint. Perhaps you'd need Usain Bolt time speed to win. San Juan direct yet again. It's often been the plan. Quickly into Dan Clare, as is on cue at the moment. The goalkeeper Diaz is there first.
Yeah. It's real poor touch there by Dan Clare. Would have liked to have done a little bit better there. And his approach, I believe there's a player down as well. Looks like Guy for San Juan North. And Diaz there, who was now picture the goalkeeper for Arima North, would be very happy with his contribution before. And now we're seeing signs here of the universal sign for substitution, James. That would be a big, big blow for San Juan North. Of course, their regular captain, Lewis, is out injured. And now it seems like Ferguson has a bit of a problem. He's holding the groin area, which is never a good thing. And it does look like it means Kwashi would have to go back. That's a big, big blow for San Juan North secondary.
So Jaheshua Ferguson could see the end of his afternoon. Michael Hemley is the one that's being warmed up. And should replace him soon. Certainly is a big blow. Never want to lose a central defender, particularly this early in the fixture. So play will continue. San Juan with 10 players on the field as Hemley awaits the introduction. Mafan, heavy touch. SCEEN. Only seen flashes of SCEEN so far. Well, seen lots of him, Dan Clare. This time he coughs up possession. It's with Ashing, and there's a whistle. Foul against Dan Clare this time, and it will be a San Juan free kick.
Yeah, it's use of Dan Clare's body to make the challenge. It's all over him there.
Oh, there's a new man, Hemley, replacing Jeheshua Ferguson.
It looks like he's going to step into the middle of the park. I'm wondering who's going to replace Ferguson from a tactical standpoint. Kwashi's going up for the free kick, but it looks like he's cemented his place in the back to replace Ferguson. And the substitute Hemsley is going to go into the middle of the park to replace Kwashi. That's a big blow for San Juan North.
Oh, they're lining up for this, and SCEEN sends that into orbit. Won't be getting that ball back anytime soon. Certainly possesses a lot more quality from that sort of range. Not this time. So yeah, just about 30 seconds away from the end of first half regulation. Still no goals. And well, the word in the street is that 4 minutes is what will be added to the first half. So still some time to play. An opportunity for one of these teams to find the score sheet. O'Brien. Lost that out. CEEN using his strength, and Joseph could get involved, but CEEN was fouled first, and the yellow card could be out as well.
Yeah, and again, James, they're trying to possess the football in the wrong areas. There's at least 3 or 4 green shirts in occupation, and this is not the first time they've been caught out by it. And they're fortunate not to pay dearly. It's something that they seem like they want to do, but you have to also understand when to do it. There's nothing wrong with going direct at times, especially when the team is putting numbers up and pressuring. It's great if you can play through the press, but if you can't, sometimes you have to go a bit direct. And I think they need to understand that.
Oh, CEEN has another opportunity. It's on his left foot, well within his range. Joseph perhaps wants to have a go himself. Here's some considerable distance out. CEEN and Joseph. CEEN. And, well, deflected effort and something for the fans to cheer, as Diaz did get a touch before it went over the crossbar. A lot better from him this time, a lot better from San Juan. And, well, he's always been good, Diaz.
Yeah, not a lot of power in this one. He went for placement, but certainly the deflection did give Diaz a bit of bother. It's a bit breezy now, James, so that could have gone anywhere. I think his smile really was out of relief more than anything else. Yeah, that's a foul. Sets up a dangerous set play here with not a lot of time left in this half.
Again, it will be CEEN and Joseph standing over this one. Got some big guys. Lewis joining the party in the middle as well. Fostin, another target in the area, as well as Rogers. Well, it's done differently, within range, and well, Diaz made himself big, but he couldn't keep it out in the end. The boys from Book have written their names in the book, the scorebook. It's 1-0.
Yeah, and you have to give CEEN some credit, because I was thinking to myself it needed a good delivery from him. Instead, he was innovative, and in his innovation he created a chance. So give him credit for that, but also give credit to that man in your screen for following up and finishing the way he did. Give Diaz absolutely no chance. Tucks inside from the free kick. CEEN launches it. It's difficult through the crowd. Diaz just wanted to get his body behind it. First man on scene, down clear. Diaz no chance. And it's goal number 1 to San Juan North.
It's now 4 goals in 5 matches for Jaheim Danclair. San Juan take a 1-0 lead. 1.5 or less than that remaining in the first half. It's all manufactured by Lindell CEEN, who's celebrating his 17th birthday today. Well, how will Arima respond? Oh, not the type of response that will get you back in the match. And that's the response from the referee that will signal that they will get a break. Coach Shepard will be keen to get his boys back in the dressing room. Solutions would be undermined. Well, for the Dynamos, disappointment in front of their home fans. For San Juan, they've been good. Found a way to get on the score sheet, as at the end of 45 minutes here at the Arima Velodrome. It is San Juan 1, Arima North Secondary 0. We take a pause and we come back.
Welcome to SSFL Premiership Division.
Well, it is halftime here at the Arima Velodrome, and it is the away team, San Juan North Secondary, who hold a 1-0 advantage over Arima at the half. Lots of action in the first half. Let's take a look back as we rewind the clock when this match started. And early, Kwashi was the man who had the first look. Well, certainly wrong the upright. Nothing Diaz could do, but that was kept out. Then SEEN spoke about his individual brilliance, setting this up. Joseph trying to find that man. Not that time, Dan Clare. But Dan Clare with the ballet move. But again, Diaz proved to be his nemesis, keeping it out. And then SEEN combining well here with that man Rogers. But again, Diaz, the common denominator. On the opposite end, not much was happening in terms of attacks at goal, although they did have the majority of possession. And then SEEN would change the tide on his birthday. Diaz couldn't hold on, and Dan Clare with the kiss of death. And that was all they needed to give the team a 1-0 lead. Rocket and Locket. Well, so much to see, and it's time to take a look at the numbers perhaps as we see and break down exactly what took place. Arima, just one shot despite all of the possession, 60% possession, providing just one shot. San Juan North, though, they've been shooting 7, 4 of which have been on target, as their possession did eventually increase to 40%. After that, nothing interesting to really talk about except the score, which gives San Juan the 1-0 advantage. All right, I've done my job. We've looked back at the highlights. We've dissected the numbers. Let's hear from the experts. Hans Devines is standing by with Brent Sancho.
Well, thank you very much, James Saunders. Brent Sancho is on the pitch with me. Brent, we need to take a closer look at the numbers and what exactly does that mean in terms of the first half and our current result with San Juan North 1 above Arima North Secondary.
Well, I think two things stuck out for me in the statistics. One, Hans, the 60% possession that Arima North had in this game. But with 60% possession, they only had one shot.
Wow.
And I think at the end of the day, that is going to be one of the issues that Coach Shepherd will, of course, point to when it comes to the first half performance. They have possessed the ball in their defensive third or middle third. They have really had that sort of consistent possession in their half. And as you could see, 60% there. And despite that, they still have had one shot on target and one shot overall. That is not good enough.
For either team, what would you be saying to the players at this point in time, Brent Sancho, if you were the coach?
I think from a Samoa North perspective, it's being able to be a lot more aggressive in the final third. They have been able to win ball in transition high up the park, but they have not been able to execute when they've gotten it. From a Arima North perspective, they have to possess the football high up the park. They have had some joy on the flanks.
Yeah.
Try to utilize that and try to, of course, explore those situations.
Well, that's what you would have said to Arima North Secondary. But for Arima North Secondary, this is not just a game. This is not just a league. This is the Arima North story.
Them was days for it. It was nice. Yeah. When they hear comprehensive reach that final day, Arima pack. Old people in wheelchair and all coming out. Was they good?
Sends the ball in a chance. George has scored. Well, Arima North are back in this game in the 55th minute. What a goal! Ricardo Jones.
When Arima walks onto the field, Arima is not just a school. Arima is representing an entire community. Other schools that are playing in the SSFL are just that, schools playing in a competition. Arima is a symbol. Arima North goes with the support and the backings of an entire community. That is Arima. My name is Wayne Shepherd. I am the technical director and head coach of Arima North football program. Beyond the tactical work, this is also fitness. So you have to work hard here. If we're not working hard here, we will do this and then we'll go and run after to get the fitness. I love coaching here. I feel at home here. When I came here and I started working here, I don't want to leave here. Left up to me, I wouldn't stop coaching Arima. Our goal is everybody who walks onto the pitch with Arima this season, they should understand at the end of the game or during the game that Arima is a team to be taken seriously. It's not sometimes, it's not most of the times we stop in it, it's every time. Football is a game where you cannot manage the score. There are all sorts of variables that happen that affect the score, but you could always manage your performance. And what we want this season is that every time we step on the pitch, no matter who it is, if it is the presentations, the Naparimas, the Fatima, the Benedict, we want to step onto the pitch and belong. So that when they play us, they understand that this is a game that they have to play. We have a skipper in Jamal Ashing, who I think is a very talented player. I am banking on his leadership and some of the other senior boys for Arima to possibly target an E-Zone Intercall finals and to finish in the top half of the table. The community of Arima is waiting for Arima to get back onto the footballing map in Trinidad, and this is what we have done, and now we need to consolidate and push on from there. And I think once we work together, work on the base, which is the technical stuff, the stuff that we have to have down pat. Once we work on that, which we've been working on, and continue adding to that, I think we'll be in a good place this season.
At the back, all of a sudden, Arima North, they do not lie down at all. They do not go to sleep. They don't know what is the meaning of the word lose. So they've come back and the man.
The Arima North story. Want to say respect goes out to Jarell Antoine, Andre Pay, and Lasana Liebert for producing that piece on Arima North. And yes, videos don't always capture the entire picture, because when you're actually in the stands here at the Arima Velodrome and Arima North is playing, you hear people relating it to this person is that person's brother who used to play for this team, and you really get that sense of community with Arima North. But let's talk about Coach Shepherd and how he has set up this team.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, this was a program that was dead and buried. But give credit to Coach Stefan and the rest of the staff to presentate this team, make sure that they're playing. More importantly, they played very organized and very structured football throughout the season so far, and you wish them all the best, and hopefully they can stay in this division and attain the goals that they have set.
Well, one of their key assets is their keeper, so let's take a look at Mr. Diaz.
Preparation has been difficult for us, that we have been promoted, so that we have to adapt to the fast playing style of the other teams, and physically it has been very hard for me to come to training and go back home to get a lot of rest to come out to training on the appointed date. Well, I look up to Arturo Martinez because he played professional football for Argentina, and I like his playing style and capability to his goalkeeping. My mentor is my mom because when I am not in my right frame of mind, she pushes me to make me keep on going and give me a lot of help and pushes me a lot so that I can be focused and ready for anything to come my way. After 8 years, it makes me feel proud with myself and my fellow teammates to know that we are up there in the Premiership division so that we can work hard and remain up there.
We look forward to great things from that young man, Isaiah Diaz. Want to remind you once again, download the SportsMax app and stay up to date with all the action here at the Secondary Schools Football League Premiership Division here in Trinidad and Tobago and in Jamaica, the ISA Schoolboy Football. When we come back, second half action here at the Arima Velodrome. Sawa North Secondary School with 1 goal. Arima North Secondary unable to find the back of the net just yet, but we will see what happens in the second half.
Welcome to SSFL Premiership Division. Welcome to SSFL Premiership Division.
Battle lines have been drawn, and it's the boys on Bugmalachis who've come into the hometown of Arima and scored 1 against the home team. They lead at the half, 45 minutes to change the narrative, or maybe to add to it. Welcome back to have our coverage here on SportsMax. James Saunders is my name, Brent Sancho, former TNT defender. And there's a countdown from Hannah. Says that it is time to play. Andrew Samuel sending the boys on their way. And 45 minutes of exciting action. What can we expect in the second half, Brent?
I think for sure Arima North Secondary is going to have to go for it. They've been very pragmatic in their approach in the first half. Slow build-up at times would have seen them cough up possession in areas that they don't want to. And I think for this second half, they're going to have to try to apply numbers forward as well as possibly be a bit more direct, James. And for a Salmon North perspective, it really is about game management and trying to get a stronger foothold in the game. I think the loss of Ferguson at the back, which meant that Nathan Kwashi would have to slot into that position, now leaves their middle of the park a bit vulnerable. And actually, this young man with the ball, his job is simple. Enjoy it, my friend. As we have a look here at this infringement, yeah, just a little bit of a knock on the thigh of SSFL. A very important player for Salmon North. They certainly wouldn't want to lose him.
Goal. It's often the target, Lindell Sween, such as his immense potential. Well, as you were, and Arima could be in, but that is good from Guy. Caught there first, got his body across and prevented the danger. Well, clever from Gomez, but he couldn't get past him. Here's Ashing. Couldn't control it, and Sanwar quite keen to Bartholomew to get it as far away as their goal as they possibly can. Gomez, Marfan's pass is intercepted. Does well to win it back, the big guy. Thompson to the area. Blue shirts queuing up now. Well, that's clever. Oh, he's done well. Happy feet there from Christopher. But eventually his pocket is picked and Sanwar tried to break quickly. Marfan winning it back and winning a foul. Winning chairs from the supporters as well.
Well, it's only a couple seconds in so far into the second half, James, and you can tell as we take a look at the Marfan foul there, you could already tell that Arima North seems to have up the intensity a bit. And certainly a tempo, and they seemingly are going a little bit more direct. Some of the suggestions we would have made during the halftime and first half as well.
Well, Marfan has paid a keen interest in this one. It's quite some distance out. Well, he'll try though. Not every effort does bear fruits. Got to work harder. Not that time though from Gomez. International youth player, was part of the last TNT under 15 setup. With 2 players on the Arima North team. Rogers losing out to Marfan. And the goal scorer, Dan Clare, trying to get a foot in. Nobody gets it wrong, Marfan. Well, he's done well. And of course his target is Christopher. So one showman, but not that time.
Yeah, and he's now trying to complicate things a bit too much. In the first half, he's a lot more direct and took his defender on. Now he's trying to stop the football and dribble past his defender, which in itself is a difficult skill. He just needs to stick with what works, James.
Well, Arima piling on the pressure and Sanwar clearing the lines. That's well won. Was there a whistle? There wasn't. And, well, that was some range. That's not the kind of shooting that would get you into the police academy, though. Certainly had his eyes on the prize from a long way out. Just left his scope at home. There's still 1-0. Just 4 minutes gone in the second half. And, well, it's fair to say Arima, they've come out like raging bulls. School that has produced top international talent. You think of Jamal Francois, played with AC Port of Spain and Arima talent. Gorian Hiley, Kerry Jameson, and of course I can't forget Mickey Trotman as well, another former Arima talent.
I believe Craig Deming as well. Yeah, the list is long. Certainly apologies to the ones we may have left out, but
Haynes as well. He's one of the top players coming out of that school. In fact, scored 85 goals one season, including 6 hat-tricks.
incredible stuff. Went on to, I believe, play with the Defence Force. They look a bit uneasy, James, the San Juan North rear guard. And a lot of it is down to the pressure being applied by Arima North secondary. It's a good start to the half for the Dynamos. But they need to keep things airtight at the back. I think that's the name of the game.
Rogers to keep this in. And Arima to kick it out. Just lost a tad bit of quality, particularly from the San Juan end of things. They've been a bit scrappy in possession. They will have a throw deep in the area. As we say hello to all of the folks locked on and CEEN TV, SportsMax, via our SportsMax app, and of course on YouTube, and CCN TV6 in Trinidad and Tobago. We'll have some more scores from around the island for you in just a second. Speyside and Presentation College, well, they're still locked at goalless after the first half. Of course, all ears will be for the result between St. Benedict's College and Fatima. We'll update you of some of those a bit later in our broadcast. Well, there's Marfan. He's kept it in well, hasn't he? Ashing. Marfan. And what a tackle that is from Bartholomew.
That's what you call a no-nonsense challenge. Even looking at his facial expression, it matches the challenge. Certainly a rough challenge. Follow through is what you have to keep your eyes on these days. Of course, those follow-throughs are penalized as we look at Ferguson, the end of his afternoon. Of course, they're already playing without their captain, Lewis, who plays at centre-half. So maybe a bit of an injury crisis for San Juan North.
Particularly in defense. Oh, no crisis with this man. This time he's double-teamed Christopher. And that will be a foul. So some slight adjustments from a San Juan perspective. Defensively, that is, they've been able to add an extra body to cover for the frailties that they did experience in the right area, an area that was well exploited by Christopher. Of the news from Fatima College ground is that St. Benedict's College and Fatima still tied at no goals after 45 minutes. Fatima, of course, are the reigning Intercol champions, and Benedict's the reigning league champions.
Despite the fact, James, that we have 3 clear leaders in the league, you would have to say that it seems a very open tournament this year. It would be extremely difficult to suggest that one team will run away with this year's edition, because there's a lot of parity when it comes to the top 3 or 4 teams, and results certainly would suggest that there are 1 or 2 results that can jump out at you. Clearly this one here is not over or far from over. That's a foul. He may go into the book as well.
Andrew Samuel delivering the disciplinary action. And it will be Marfan to try to beat that man. This is what happened. Yep.
Late and persistent fouling as well is why he got the card. Late is why he gave away the free kick. No, certainly a promising position for Arima North Secondary.
Oh. Zara certainly has her eyes locked in on Marfan as they've piled 6 blue shirts into the area, all looking to get in at the end of it. Can Marfan get Arima back in the contest? Well, it's hit the crossbar. Haynes was beaten, but couldn't get past the skinny white frame of the goal post. That's a warning.
Yeah, and for a minute there, I thought Haynes got a touch. Marfan with one clear objective, and that's to get the ball in frame. And of course, it beats Haynes, but it doesn't beat the upright. Certainly, Arima North Secondary is the team in the ascendancy.
So just 2 titles, secondary school titles for Arima North Secondary. School that has been so rich in footballing history. East Zone League title in 2012. And an East Intercall title in 2011. It's almost an injustice for a school of the quality of Arima. Although they have struggled in recent times after they were demoted in the very first season of the Premiership format in 2014.
Yeah, he has to be careful, James. He really does. That man Bartholomew. That could have easily been a card.
Well, that might be too long to catch. And, well, they'll have to restart. Has been a long plummet for Arima. They gone down 3 levels after being demoted. Senior grade division. 3 divisions below the Premiership. But they've been able to work their way back up. In fact, the last time that Arima won the Premiership division, most of these boys would have been around 7 years old. O'Brien. Well, this is long, and he's been sent to chase Hazel. He's won a throw for his team.
Well, it's getting a bit uncomfortable for San Juan North Secondary, certainly. The way Arima North has gone about their business in this half.
Stapleton. It's out wide.
Good ball.
Well, nobody in the area. Marfan trying to muscle his way in.
This could be trouble for Arima North if he gets run in screen.
Well, running
Yeah,
out
it's
of
well
real estate.
defended.
Well, there will be time for a change for Arima. And it will be Jeremy Joseph, the winger, will come off, and Tony Figuera will make his entrance. It's the man they call the Bulldog for Arima, Figuera. So he will get his first look in. Certainly piling on pressure now. Couldn't get his way around the green shirt, and San Juan now trying to transition quickly. Just running into trouble, but he's a very good runner, so he escapes. SSFL gets a second bite of the cherry. 1v1, and I couldn't get past the second. Marfan is finding a lot more space now. It's dangerous when he can. Well, had time and space himself to hit across goal. Ashing did none of that.
Yeah. Great through ball there. Ashing at the end of it. Caught in two minds possibly, because there was a spearman in the middle waiting. Instead, he decided to take the shot from a difficult angle. Never hit the frame. It's a good opportunity for Arima North. A lot that they've conjured up now. Here they go again.
Well, he'll get a second opportunity, Ashing. Certainly, by far, the most experienced player on the pitch for Arima North. Did play in the TTPFL 2 with Queen's Park, Ashing. Well, that's a good foul, but it could get him in trouble. Hot water, maybe he's dipping in the back pocket. And, well, he can breathe a sigh of relief. It's only a yellow card. CEEN looked to be away and, well, taking no chances.
Yeah. Good ball there. First to the ball is CEEN. And you wonder if he was allowed to continue on his run, James. It could have meant it certainly, at minimum, maybe a shot on Diaz's goal.
Well, as he lined this one up, got some more halftime scores. Pleasantville leading Trinity East by 2-1. And Mucarapo leading CIC by 2-1 as well. Well, Naparima College are 2-0 ahead of Malik, the league leaders. So those are the latest results that we have on hand. San Wando can look to increase their advantage. And those boys will look to decrease their chances of increasing that advantage. So Joseph and CEEN. This time might be Joseph. Well, he had an idea. And that's all he will have.
Right idea, poor execution. Certainly needed a bit more in it as we look at some of the reserves for San Juan North, possibly awaiting their chance to get on the field. This is where they've been very careless, James, when they've tried to build out to the back and have allowed opportunities. That's a foul, has to be, or not.
Confirmation of the naughty boy behavior by Bartholomew that was punished. Well, here's the substitute for Guerra, finding Ashing. And, well, Guy was quick.
Well, I tell you what, if you've never seen the money train before, there it is. There was absolutely no hesitation. And yes, that could certainly go in the Brent Sancho's collection of tackles.
Front row as well. Right on display. Gomez. And who got the last touch? The assistant, Johan Cornell, says it was boys in blue. Rima certainly are finding a lot more space through in the middle. A lot more than we saw in the first half. We see the likes of Marfan getting in position. Stapleton could be in as well, but Haynes again comes through.
Well, they've been a lot more direct, James. And they're not trying to play 5-6 passes in their middle third. They're actually trying to get the ball up to their front runners faster like this.
Oh, look at that. He sliced right through them. But again, Ashing can't get there before the goalkeeper. He's looked good since coming on, Figuera. Man nicknamed German. Certainly finding a lot more space and does add a level of pedigree to the center. It's Gomez. Couldn't find Ashing, but Stapleton has done well. He's kept it alive.
I think as well, James, with Kwashi moving out of the middle of the park, it's certainly been a lot more joy for the men from Arima, because that middle of the park where he roamed and controlled Kwashi for San Juan North has certainly left a bit more exposed than it was. But take nothing away from Arima North secondary. They have approached the second half in the way that they should.
Well, they will make yet another change, Arima. And it's Elijah
Captain.
Rogers.
Looks like Ashing, the captain, is off. He looked like he was nursing. He kept, of course, trying to massage the right groin every chance he had. And I'm sure a couple of those through balls didn't help his cause.
I mentioned some past Arima players. You also think of a current Soka Warrior squad, Nabil Hakshaw, also an Arima boy, and the coaching staff, Derek King, another Arima boy. She's a San Juan girl though, and she's happy. I think more famously, around Trinidad and Tobago, the land of carnival, Bungie Garlin, proud Arima ambassador, would have gone to this school as well. Well, this could be trouble. And, well, came close, didn't he? They've been dangerous in spurts, and that man escaping from defensive duties, Lewis, to get a chance. And it's a chance for San Juan as well to shuffle their deck. And it will be David Lewis coming in. Elijah Rogers off.
Yeah, Rogers, although it's a like-for-like change, Rogers a more defensive-minded player. I'm very sure San Juan North and Coach Mo will look to try and close this off. And this is as much, again, James, I have no problem with them building out to the back, but it has to be with a purpose.
And with the right players.
And with the right players, correct. More importantly. And it's in no way I'm suggesting that they should launch the ball forward. But I think picking the right moments to do it. And identifying that. And maybe that's the second phase of their development.
Well, juggling act. Goalkeeper is there. And the brave one as well. From the air, showing some of his tuts and tumbles moves. And again, Arima being pressured, building out of the back. To find some space now. Oh, he's done well for himself. This is long. So San Juan still holding on to their 1-goal advantage. Goal scored by Jaheim Danclair. It's Mafan finding Thomas, the substitute. Well, Thomas did think about a shot for a second. It's back with Mafan! Well, the crowd told you exactly what they thought about it. Would have been special.
Well, he's already showed with the free kick he had that he has position in that left foot, but he also has power. And you're looking at the dive from Haynes, and you wonder, would he have gotten there in time? In fact, he would not have. Good power and position there by Mafan. The closest Arima North secondary has come to a goal, James.
Certainly has been. Please, sir, can we have some more? Can they go direct, aimed in at Thomas? Mafan is finding a lot more joy second half as San Juan, well, they show their frustration. Will be a goal kick. Oh, they've won a corner. Arima getting the last touch. He claims he was pushed. Henry.
Well, they've gone quite dormant in the second half, San Juan North. A lot of that is attributed to the way Arima North have applied themselves. But despite that, we have not mentioned the likes of SSFL and Joseph because they just haven't been present. That's a brave header.
"19 minutes of regulation time remaining." Remember, Arima have not been beaten in 22 matches in regulation time. At the moment, that record certainly in danger of being broken. Yes, Thomas is making his Premier League debut today. No handball, play continues. Loses possession. Could get in behind. It's well defended though by Guy, who's been solid. Here's Mafan, solid contender for Arima as well. Will be a throw to the boys in blue. Stapleton is the target, and has he been pulled down? Kwashi doesn't think so. Good defending from him. Certainly has made a big difference with Kwashi being utilized in the defensive line. He is the leading goal scorer, by the way, Nathan Kwashi.
Well, he's certainly helped with bringing assurance to the back four, but he's left a gap in the middle of the park, and it's one of the main reasons why San Juan North has certainly been pegged back by Arima North secondary. And with about 28 plus minutes or so left in this game, James, you just wonder if they can hold on, because it does look now that San Juan North is doing a holding on job. And if we were to go down the line of suggesting who would score next, I would have to say to you, it looks like Arima North secondary. And that's a far cry from what we saw in the first half.
Certainly lots for Jerry Moore to figure out. Perhaps the happier of the coaches, Wayne Shepherd. These boys have certainly applied pressure, haven't taken the opportunities though. And San Juan will seek to dip into their reserves to make yet another change. And Dan Clay has been replaced, the goal scorer. And Chase Charles will be the man coming in. Chadell Chase Charles. So they've got lots of depth, San Juan. Big catchment area in the Bugmalachis area. Of course, the home of San Juan Jablity, who's been a most dominant youth club in Trinidad and Tobago over the years. Mafan couldn't keep it in, and it's been booted far away from goal by Daniel Lewis. Oliveri, Mafan. Looking for options ahead of him. Will find it out wide. Christopher, egged on by the crowd, and a heavy touch from Gomez of all persons. Gifts it back to San Juan, and more importantly, this man SSFL who gets the advantage. Well, he's been isolated, doesn't need help though. It's gone past 4, couldn't get past the 5th. 75 minutes gone, 15 remaining. And tell you what hasn't changed, Brent. Pass completion for San Juan Secondary.
Yeah, a lot of errant passes and hopeful ones as well. And we've seen that more so in the second half, as it's certainly been a decrease of the already low pass completion in the first half.
Thomas. Premiership debut today. And he wins the throw. Was an integral part of the Arima team that was promoted last season. His first look in today in the Premiership, getting a start. Well, coming in as a substitute. Swan by Chase. CEEN. And this time stays alive, and they will have to chase after it, Arima. Chase Charles literally on his back at the moment. Almost going with his shirt as well, Oliveri. Trying to build out of the back. San Juan happy to allow them to do that. Oliveri. Should be Kwashi's ball. Well, they take their time to set this one up. It's Gomez. Was aiming for Christopher, couldn't pick him out that time. And, well, they're just trading passes at the moment. Haynes happy to run the clock down. His team lead by a 1-0. Arima did get close to getting a national title in the 1985 season of the competition. That's, of course, where one of their past star boys, Timothy Haynes, all the heads might remember him, scored 6 hat-tricks in the season. Unfortunately for him, though, his competition was the likes of Russell Latipi and the San Fernando Technical Institute, and just pipped them to the school title back then.
Yeah, that final was played in the newly opened Hasely Crawford Stadium. An exciting game of football. Remember that vividly. But you're right. I think you would have to really search the history books to find a better composed team in terms of players, that San Fernando Technical team. Some outstanding talent, that names that still resonate in the walls of football here in Trinidad and Tobago, certainly from a high school level.
Think they're the best team that you've seen, secondary school level?
Yeah, easily.
It's Russell Latipi, arguably the all-time great of Trinidad and Tobago football, together with Dwight York and maybe Leroy Dillion.
I may even add in the Maliks of the 90s as well. Produced some really good teams. And all-round teams.
Oh, he's looking for a good strike here. Needed to be more accurate.
Well, it's the first time we've seen him cut in Christopher and have a go. And it's good to see the young man trying to mix his game up. He was relying heavily on his 1v1 battles with Des Lewis. And certainly haven't had the same joy he had in the first half in this second half. And so he's tried to come in. They have to find an answer somehow, somewhere else. That 22-game undefeated streak may come to an end on home soil. And I must say, James, we've built up quite a crowd here at the Arima Velodrome.
So it will be Christopher that will replace his last shot, his last act, as Zion Metiver has taken his place. Surprised by that change?
Yeah, I am. Despite the fact that he's been quite quiet in the second half, I still think he possesses a match-winning situation.
Well, here's a match-winning situation that is well stopped by Diaz, who might have hurt himself in the process. Ted go in contact with that man, Lindell Sween. And, well, while he gets treatment and he rules the moment, we check out our SportsMax app moment. And it's this man, Mafan, ringing the alarm. This time just coming off the crossbar, though. But certainly a top moment for him that makes him our SportsMax app moment. Oh, don't forget, you can capture all of the exciting action in the Secondary Schools Football League by downloading the SportsMax app. And it's available everywhere. The Play Store, Google Play, wherever you get your apps, we are there. And you can also capture some of the excitement of the Easter Schoolboy football by downloading our app. Football and sports on the go. Download it today. There's Mark Thomas. They need inroads from somewhere. Arima. Thomas providing it at the moment. But then Guy. Oh, how solid that's even.
Certainly a candidate for man of the match. He's been no nonsense in his approach. And certainly he's not afraid for his opposition to feel his frame. Last-ditch tackle there. But certainly one that stopped and thwarted the attack.
And if anybody can, Mafan can. But he's found the blue shirt. It's not over. Second bite. Was it deflected? Referee doesn't think so. The Dial Dynamos, though. Wow, they're turning the screws at the moment. Hazel almost hitting the mark.
Well, good ball in there by Mafam. Look at Hazel for a bit of acrobatics. Crashes off a guy. And they just couldn't get a clean shot on the rebound. Knocking on the door, Arima North.
Oh, this could fall anywhere. Finds a green shirt. Joseph gets the touch. He gets a second. Oh, insurance maybe? Well, certainly dancing with the stars. Sween, as he tread the needle. Joseph has gone down. All eyes on the referee, who says it's a goal kick.
A good bit of interplay there by Joseph and Sween. The correct call in the end. And Sanwa North Secondary would love to have that insurance goal, because you just feel that a second goal from Sanwa North, James, may spell lights out for Arima North Secondary. Albeit, of course, they've had their fair share of goals, Arima North. When you look at the amount they've scored this season, of course, it amounts to 10. But there's that anomaly in the middle, the third game against St. Mary's College, where they won 8-1. So they've scored 8 goals in one game, but they look like they have struggled in other games and other fixtures. And they need to find that St. Mary's College scoring boots somehow.
Soliveri. Good touch.
That's better.
Thomas.
That's good skill.
Well, he's been fouled.
I tell you what, James, I'm a bit surprised that Bartholomew has stayed on the pitch so long. And it's not that he's not playing well, it's the fact that he's on a yellow card. Bartholomew from Arima North. And he's found himself in some tricky situations, certainly from a tackling perspective. That hasn't helped.
Thomas, it's been lively since coming on. Clock ticking down, so too Arima's unbeaten streak in regulation time. He wants something done about it. Well, blue shirts are plugging away, finding space now to Hazel. Thomas certainly found a boatload for himself here. Need good service though. Well marshaled by the green shirts. Here's Marfan, the magician. Well, there we go. It's made one disappear. Well, it's still alive. Look at Marfan go. They're loving him here. They'd love them to get an equalizer though. And well, it's pretty anticlimactic. It's got the crowd worked up though.
I'm quite sure that they would have enjoyed this bit of play here from Marfan. Got to the byline. Tangle there with Guy. Was first to his feet and had the awareness to continue his movement. Just didn't have the execution at the end or the delivery to get it to a blue shirt. A lot of fanfare, but not a positive result. And Arima needs a positive result.
Well, here's Figuera. Oh, almost got that through to Stapleton. Walcott's out by Quashi. Well, needs to get this under control. Will be the Dial Dynamos with the free kick. Oh, St. Augustine Secondary, or St. Anthony's College rather, leading Chaguanas North by 4-1. Remember that halftime score was 2-1 in favor of Chaguanas. QRC rather, and the Bishop High School, well, their halftime score was goalless. Here's CEEN. Lost possession. Did have the support out wide. And Arima thirsty for an equalizer. Quashi should get there first, so too Guy. Well, as he lost it, Quashi finally does get it away, and the final touch might have come off the Arima player. Just wonder the whereabouts of Colin Murray might be today. Of course, that big clash in Fatima College ground.
Well, I've heard he's full in yellow and blue paint across his face. And a cape, a Fatima College flag cape around his neck.
Well, he certainly would have won a medal around his neck if he had managed to beat Haynes from that distance. He's not been beaten. It's been good so far, Haynes, in this match. Should fall to the boys in green. San Juan. It's 20 seconds of regulation time remaining. Remember, Arima have not been beaten in regulation time since 2019. That looks set to come to an end today. Unless, of course, they can turn water into wine. Oh, that's good from Figuera. Doors potentially opening. Stapleton has come deep to find space. And he almost opened it up, but that's good defending from Lewis. Desai Lewis. Certainly living up to that name. Named, of course, after the French World Cup winning captain, Marcel Desai. Five minutes will be added. And that certainly would be good news to the boys in blue. Boys in green, though. Could be 5 more minutes of torture.
Despite the lion's share of possession, I still feel that Arima North secondary could have carved out a lot more dangerous chances or clear-cut opportunities. They've huffed and puffed, got into some good areas, and they've shown some good individual flair in 1 or 2 occasions. But certainly would be disappointed that they didn't trouble Haynes a bit more. Outside of that Martha and Scorcher that crushed against the bar, don't really have much to write home about. But maybe they could change the narrative here.
Stapleton
Needs help.
Calvary arriving late, but arriving nonetheless. He's got the beating of his man. Not many blue shirts to aim at. And, well, San Juan just gave up possession. It's Gomez. Battling for this one, Gomez. Has he done enough? Well, I'm not sure that if I had the whistle, that would have been called the foul, but Andrew Samuel, of course, is certainly professional at that.
That's probably why you don't have the whistle.
Yeah, but I never made it as a referee.
It did look a bit dubious. But nevertheless, I think Samuel North is very happy for that call. Question is, can they hold on, James? They're not doing a good job, SSFL, of holding up the football. Seems like it just comes back every single time.
Oh,
that's ambitious.
Visions of glory. And Higgins, well, a few hearts might have skipped somewhere in Bugmalachis. Might still be skipping. Oh, he's got it under control.
Well, we did see in the first half, SSFL hit a shot from outside the box, and Diaz did everything in his power to get his body behind it. But what he didn't do is keep it within his framework, and eventually it ended up in the back of the net. And you just wondered for a second if that was going to happen to Haynes as well, because it's very uneven surface throughout this Arima Velodrome facility. And you'd have to say, James, that the man of the match for this one, I might just go with Guy.
Well, don't think many people would disagree. Well, Defoe is the man that has just come on, Darren Defoe, replacing Marfan. Marfan, of course, one of those players who did create considerable threats in the attacking area. Gomez, Olivier. Has he kept that in? Metivier, he hasn't. Will be a San Juan throw. Oh, it's good news over in Jamaica. A match between Charlie Smith High and Kingston College. That has just restarted. Of course, that was interrupted in the 57th minute due to lightning. Play has just restarted. Well, it's now or never, you feel, for Arima. And, well, Figueira couldn't get his ball into the path of the man he was aiming at. San Juan, though, holding on. They've just got a few seconds to do it. And, well, if they can keep it in this area here, they might feel they would have done enough to get the better of Arima. Oh, that's clever. And, just hold on to possession here. CEEN, maybe for the consolation. Icing on the cake, maybe. No foul, says the referee. Last chance you feel for Arima North secondary. Gomez could fall kindly for them. Substitute battling, can't hold on, and Kwashi would send that into the sky at any time now. Could he have the final whistle? And the unbeaten run in regulation time has come to an end for that man and his team. Arima North secondary. And it was an early strike by Jaheim Danclair that has done the job. They fought well but couldn't find the net. Danclair scoring his 3rd goal in 5 matches. His 4th for that matter. Doing the trick. And for the boys in blue, the Dial Dynamos, they will have to lick their wounds and come again. San Juan, though, they remain perfect. After 5, they've been able to accumulate 15 points. A very good start for them this season, as at the end of 90, it's San Juan North 1, Arima North secondary 0. Well, the battle in Arima has been won by the team from Bougmalatris. And an exciting contest that we witnessed right here on SportsMax. Don't forget all of the action available via our SportsMax app. Download it everywhere that you get your apps, at the Play Store and Google Play. You can also catch the action of the ESA schoolboy football on the SportsMax app. Download it today. Well, we're getting set in just a second to show you all of the action in the first half of this match. And after that, we will have a chat with our man of the match. Let's look back now. We rewind the clock. Andrew Samuels got us started. Arima controlled possession, but San Juan controlled the chances. The first one being from Kwashi. Had the right idea, hit the target, but not finding the net. Then CEEN, one-man dancing show. Joseph had a chance to tap it in. He chose Danclair, and good defending from that man. And then Kwashi involved again, and Danclair forcing a save from Diaz. You're going to see a lot more of him in the highlight reel. This time, it was that man, Rogers, forcing him to get low. On the other end, though, Gomez and company were trying to get past Haynes. Solid as a rock. But I told you about Diaz. Was good every time. This game needed a difference maker, and that man was CEEN on his birthday, forcing a deflection. And then Jaheim Danclair, the kiss of death, finding a way past Diaz. He's only been beaten 3 times this season in 5 matches. Second half, Marfan tried to create magic, hitting the crossbar. And again, Marfan finding Ashing, but he couldn't find the frame. And Marfan, maybe the best chance, forcing a stretch from Haynes, but that was all that he found, because they couldn't find a way back in the match. And when Andrew Samuels blew his whistle, it meant that San Juan were 1-0 winners. Let's see what the numbers tell us. Certainly a massive improvement in terms of shot for Arima North. 8 in particular. But look at that, just below that, just 1 on target compared to San Juan making half of their 10 attempts. And, well, the only interesting thing at the end was the possession stat. Heavily dominated by Arima North. But as they always say, it is goals that win matches, and San Juan holding that 1 goal over Arima North. Hans de Veens is standing by, and he's got the job of talking to our man of the match.
Thank you very much, James Saunders. Kent Guy, man of the match today. Congratulations. What does winning this trophy mean to you, and who would you like to dedicate it to?
I'd like to dedicate it to CEEN. Today is his birthday. So happy birthday, CEEN. So I dedicate this one to you. And Joshua was he injured, but I dedicate this one to him.
I like the way you keep that team spirit. What is the mood currently in the camp of San Juan North?
Mood is good. we obviously get the job done today. Still more work to do, but at the end of the day, we get the win.
All right, congratulations. Right now we get ready for Brent Sancho with the coaches.
Yes, coach. Of course, domination from the possession point of view, but not the result you want at the end of the day. Your assessment of the 90 minutes plus.
First off, I want to congratulate San Juan and Coach Mo. They came with a particular plan and they carried it out. I thought we played too slow. The tempo was incorrect. We needed to play at a quicker tempo to move them into bad positions. Second half was a little better, but the tempo wasn't right today. And that's it. That's the assessment. We have to regroup and go again.
Well, you talked about, of course, the second half performance, and it was a stark contrast to the first. You started to find yourself in more goal-scoring opportunities. What did you say at halftime?
Increase the pace. We were passing the ball too slowly. Sawa were obviously sitting back, waiting for us to come pick off the mistakes we were making and then play from there. And I thought I had too many players having off moments in the first half. I think they hit the post twice over 2 errors that we made. And that was it. The boys regrouped, they raised the tempo, they cleaned up the errors that they were making, and we were able to get further forward with a little adjustment that we made. And we were able to get further forward, but at the end of the day, it wasn't enough.
Thank you very much, Coach. All the best to you.
Okay.
Coach, of course, a game that historically produces close games. Another close one here today. Your assessment of the 90 minutes?
I thought it was a good tactical game. Arima, they did a lot of switching in terms of formation, and at times it was effective, but we defended well. And once you defend well and be consistent, you always give yourself a chance to win.
Well, you talk about defending well. Of course, you lost your captain, Lewis. Then, of course, Ferguson in the game. You had a makeshift centre-half in Kwashi, but still you were very resilient defensively. Talk to us about your defence performance here today.
I think we were solid. That's the type of job you do on the training ground every day. So one man down, the next man up, and he just step into it. I think Kwashi did very well as a stopper. Ken guided very well, and hopefully they get the confidence going forward.
Thank you very much, Coach. All the best.
You're welcome.
Once again, congratulations to Coach Jerimo and the entire Sawa North Secondary School unit. Secondary Schools Football League Premiership Division. Remember, the action continues on Saturday as we bring you action. Trinity College East versus Malik Secondary School on Saturday. And also in Easter Schoolboy Football, we get ready for matchups upon matchups. Fogo Road High versus Gavi Maceo High on Friday. And on Saturday, Holy Trinity High versus St. Catherine and St. Andrews Technical versus Excelsior High. Look out for those games live on SportsMax. Score here at Arima Velodrome. Sawa North 1, Arima North Secondary ending their 22-match streak, leaving here with 0. My name is Hans Devines on behalf of the entire SportsMax team. Thank you so much for viewing. Arima North Secondary 0, Sawa North Secondary 1. We leave you with some moments from today's game.
Welcome to SSFL Premiership Division.